Hi all, I'm just posting an update video on the abandoned Catholic cemetery on Kilburn Road, Eccles, Manchester. Now, as you know from my previous YouTube video 4 months ago approximately, I researched and checked with various authorities to try and get the resolution on who owns the land and what can be done for the ownership and maintenance going forward. I involved a local Suffolk council, Catholic churches, diocese, members of parliament, and even Peel Green Holdings. We knew that the ground was given to the Catholic Church over 100 so years ago, but the land ownership documentation was either lost or was never completed. Salford Catholic Diocese refused to accept ownership, and when I presented historical evidence written in books, they weren't interested. So I contacted the newspapers to get the issue some much needed attention. After arranging a visit at the cemetery with journalist Nick, he then kindly published an article which made the papers, the Mirror newspaper and Manx Evening News, and even the BV Northwest News. There was a section on it. Anyway, the article read, if you weren't aware, the local historian himself is writing to the Pope to protest over the abandoned Catholic graveyard, which says become a drug den. It's an overgrown cemetery on Barton upon Irwell and Peel Green at Eccles, and it's not used for burials since the 1940s. And then it goes on to say about myself. I live in Stretford and done some historical study in the area. And I told them about that no one actually owns the graveyard. I checked with the land registry. The site is only 30 metres squared, approximately, and it's been formerly owned by the De Trafford family, who were the big landowners at the time. The family offloaded the burial ground to the Catholic Church, and the necessary paperwork for ownership was to be secured was never actually completed, meaning the graveyard is now owned by no one. When contacted, the spokesman for the Catholic Church in Liverpool said, "Oh, it's not our issue." And they contacted Salford Diocese and said, "It could have been one of theirs, but confirmed it isn't. And now we've checked the land and it's unregistered." Well, we know that. So it doesn't belong to us. That's what they said. They're really just washing their hands of it. I'm concerned that the graveyard is being used as a drug den at the time, and a possible source of danger to local residents. Overgrown trees, perimeter wall 8 feet high. It doesn't look safe with the roots pushing the brickwork out, and it could, left unchecked, fall onto someone. Because if you go right to the top of the perimeter wall, they do have loose stone. I did point that out to the council. We did fair dues to come out and have a look at it and said it was safe, but for how long, I don't know. No one can look after it. After I've exhausted every avenue of authority trying to get in contact with, I thought, well, the only person that can get in touch with is Pope Francis. So I wrote to him. I added that a successful outcome would be that Salford City Council secure the site and replace the main gate with a metal fence, like a security fence, and then the authority could work out how to go forward from that with the maintenance. Responding to this by the press, the council said, "We will raise the issue of maintenance of this graveyard with the Catholic diocese, who the council believes, and I believe, is the legal responsibility for it. The, the Salford Council have no legal authority to bar access to the public cemetery to carry out work on this land, but will raise concerns with illegal activities with the police for investigation. Our buildings control officer inspected the perimeter back in March and was satisfied it's not dangerous condition at that time." So, true to my word, I wrote a letter to the Pope, and the dispatch, they had to write a handwritten letter because the Pope doesn't have an email address. Fair enough. So I put it in a post, and I said, "Your Holiness," I said, "it turns out there's no landowner. I'm going through all the details you just explained to yourself." And I said it's abandoned, in state of repair. There's alcohol being drunk there. There's empty cans. There's all kinds of stuff in the cemetery, and it's very disrespectful, especially as Catholic priests are buried there. What I'm looking for, if it's to secure the site and the Salford Diocese take control, but they say it's not their problem. So I've gone to him see what he says and I'm waiting for a letter back. And I haven't one so far, but I might get one. You never know. After that was published, and it went into the papers, all the issue about the abandoned church and me writing to the Pope. Surprisingly, the gates repaired and a new lock fitted pretty much a few days later. And the council said, I'm surprised at the sudden appearance of the gates. I don't know where they came from or who funded them, but we can assure it wasn't the council. And I'd be surprised if it was the Catholic diocese because they've been in denial for over 40 years about the ownership. And in the last 20 years of the councillor, when they press them once a year, they tell me they have no deed, ownership documents regarding this piece of land, etc. We don't seem to all have old records of who's buried where, there, and have no idea what's going to happen. But one thing, if someone will step forward and claim ownership of the land, then they can pick up the £20,000 minimum bill charges that the council have placed on land for all the work they've done to keep it in order for the last 20 years. Plus, we would then have someone we could happily pursue to bring it back up to standard, which I definitely agree with. The refurbished gates had a new sign fitted saying private property, keep out, no trespassing, which was a shock because I thought only the landowner can do that. We did try to contact the person who did this because they put like a contact email address, but they weren't forthcoming with any details at all. I put my own look on the graveyard in a bid to flush out the person and organisation that appeared to be trying to take control of it. I think it could be possible unscrupulous developers that would try and carpet bag the site. Under property law, if someone takes over unclaimed land and manage it, apparently after a few years, 5, I don't know what the UK law is on that, they can effectively take ownership of it. The press reported a few weeks ago that it had been to the Pope, and a mysterious man called Luke contacted a local gate company to restore the gates and put his own padlock on it, along with a no trespassing sign. I tried to find this person because his address was cleanupyourarea@yahoo.com, and he called himself CleanCo. I asked if people can visit the grave, and he said no. And he said he didn't know when it would be open again. So he's basically denying public access there. He's got a GoFundMe site called Helping Us to Help You to raise cash for the graveyard. But he's refusing to give up his own identity for some unknown reason. So that's why I put the padlock on the gate, because we want to find out what's going on. And the public need to know and have access to the site. There's no need to lock it. The metal gate contractor, who does not want to be named, told the press that he met Luke at the gates of Peel Green Road about 3 weeks ago. He fixed the hinges, painted the gates, and put a padlock on. They didn't replace them, painted them. And he was paid by bank transfer from a personal account. Now, he's not disclosed that personal account. I mean, we could GDPR ask for that under a need-to-know basis, having a legitimate interest. But we've not taken it that far yet. Maybe the council's something the council would like to do. The contractor said to the press, Luke told me he was intending to manage the land for 5 years and then put a reserve for the land. Now that set alarm bells ringing for myself. And I said, I think the person has placed a lock on the gate with a possible intention to block anyone from access to the protection of the site maintenance and then to claim squatters' rights after a number of years. That's by UK law because the site's not registered. I think Salford City Council should be made aware until it's too late to leave it as is. Also, you have to consider the public right to be updated and given access when needed to the graves. I think by placing my own lock on the gates, it's forced the hand of Mr. Luke and CleanCo to come forward to be honest with the public regarding who they are, who they're acting for, and their intentions. Once the public's made aware and given access right when needed, and they've no plan to claim squatters' rights, and Salford City Council are happy with their plan, then we can all progress happily. At this point, remove my lock. I stress if the public need access, I'll remove my lock for anyone. That is the opposite of what Mr. Lucas said in an email. He said, unfortunately, access to the public is not permitted at this point in time as the land is currently under maintenance until further notice. I have no idea when that notice will end. It's possible that attempting to take control of land, develop it. We don't know. We want the graveyard to be looked after and respected for what it is, a place where entire families and priests, Catholic priests, are buried. I have no ill will to the person. I just want to be open and transparent about his intentions to the graveyard and what the motives are. They could be entirely laudable, but we need to know if that is or isn't the case. I'm also disappointed that the graveyard's not owned by the Roman Catholic Diocese of Salford, and they don't seem to be interested. Now, if they already taken control of the site, which they should have done years ago, we wouldn't have come to this problem. We know that the diocese have refused to comment, other than to say the usual spiel of they don't own the graveyard. Yeah, well, we know that. The press have contacted Mr. Luke by email, and he responded with, "My name is Luke, and I'm a member of the Eccles community. I'm here maintaining the land of Barton upon Irwell Catholic Cemetery after a long time being left. It would be greatly appreciated if any donations could be made, whether it be money, spare tools, removal van, big bag, helping hand, skip, anything else you can think of to help make Eccles a better place." He said in his email he'd contact the press back after the Easter, but he's not even done that yet. We have no idea why. I mean, how's someone supposed to get in touch with him if you're just ignoring emails? It's very strange. There's been a later release by Salford Media who published an article that the Salford councillor, urges a mystery eco warrior who has laid claim to the abandoned graveyard to come forward so it can be billed. He said it can be billed for years of maintenance work by the town hall. The councillor called John Mullen, who sent the message to the man, allegedly paid for the gates of Barton upon Irwell graveyard to be repaired before locking them with a padlock and putting a no trespassing sign. Councillor Mullen, who lives nearby to the cemetery, has emailed the address and sign asking the person to make himself known, and he wants to confirm the title, address, so they can send the billing to that person if they own the site. He looks forward to their response. He's not had a response, but we need to know who it is. As you know, I tried to contact the person in question, but I've not had any reply either, other than the no, you can't have access. And the gate manufacturer was paid by a personal account, and he's not disclosed any further details. So we wait for the mysterious person named Luke, or whoever, to come forward and let us know what's going on. I'll remove the lock one minute, know what's going on, but we'll just take it forward from then, and hopefully we'll get the answers we need. So stay tuned, and I'll let you know via the press and an update on YouTube when I know something. Okay, thank you. Bye.